श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् श्रीगणेशशारदागुरुभ्यो नमः. What is today's verse? Purna Purita Punyaha. The first word is Purnaha. Purnaha means complete, perfect. Purnaha means Sampannaha, one who is wealthy, one who is endowed with. That is the meaning of Purna, one who is endowed with what? Sakalabihi Shaktibihi, with all powers. There is no power that Vishnu does not have. He does not lack any powers. In the world, the powerful people are powerful because of their position. Few years from now, Trump will be trampled upon. Nobody will care for him. Because it is the position that gives him dignity. But in the case of Brahman, in the case of Vishnu, he is not getting his glory from anybody else. It is not a borrowed glory from a position. Like Brahmaji, he is a creator. That position is gifted by Paramatma to him. So as long as he is Brahmaji, he will be respected. But once Brahmaji loses his position, what happens? The Brahma Kapalam goes into Shiva's Mala. Shiva is called Kapali. Why Shiva is called Kapali? Because he has got Brahma Kapalam. It is like a souvenir for him. See, look, I have all the Brahmas lined up here. Everything is Nashwaram. Don't be too proud. There is a knowledge Shiva is trying to. He is Jnaneshwara. That is why he is trying to convey that. Hence, everybody in this world get respect because of their position. Because you are in a certain position, you draw. So you are actually borrowing the glory of your position. That position, how did you get? Because of Punya. You worked for it. So you became Brahmaji. But Vishnu does not have any position. Paramatma does not have any. All his glories are from his own Shakti. Because he is Purnaha. He is already eternally endowed with these Shaktis and Kalas. Kala means part, Shakti means powers. Sagalabhihi Shaktibihi Sampannaha iti Purnaha. That is the meaning of Purnaha. Why is so? Because Sakalaihi Kamaihi Purnaha. All the kamas that one can think of is already attained by him. He is Apta Kama. His mind does not race seeing an object. His mind is Purnaha. It is like a huge ocean. There is no ripple at all in him, in his being. That is why he is called as Purnaha. So this is why a person is not Purna. Why he is not Purnaha? Because he has Kama. Why he is not Purna? Because he is Nishkala. He does not have Kalas. Kala is part. Why one is not Purna? Because one does not have Shakti. These are the three reasons. He has got Kala, he has Apta Kamata, and he has got Shakti. Because of this reason, he is called Purnaha. Sakalaihi Kamaihi Sakalabihi Shaktibihi Sampannaha iti Purnaha. Purnaha means perfect. Everyone has this feeling of imperfection. I did not dress up well. I don't have what I want. That's called the sense of Apurnata. When you feel that, you have to think of Purnaha. What will he do if you call him as Purnaya Namaha? What will he do? Purayita. He will come and fill up. What will he do? Purayita. You know, when you are young, you have these questions, fill up the blanks. So there are several blanks in our life. He will come and Purayita. That is the next meaning. The reason is because he is Purnaha. Only if you have the stuff, you can fill it up. Because Vishnu is Purnaha, and because we think we are Apurnaha, why? Because we don't have Shakti. We have too many kamas, and we are not Sakala. We are Nishkala. Hence, he becomes the Purayita. That's what Shankara writes. Na kevalam purna eva purayita cha. He is not only complete, he is also capable of completion. Completion of whom? The incomplete. Who are the incomplete? Us. That's what he writes. He connects it, Shankara. First he said, Sakalehi kamehi sakalabhi shaktibihi sampannaha. Because he is sampanna, he is purnaha. Next line, na kevalam purna eva. Not only that he is purna complete, purayita cha. He is also capable of completing. Whom purayita? Sarvesham. Anybody who needs completion. For all. For the entire universe. He is the purayita. And what does he fill people with? Sampat bihi. With sampat. What is sampat? Sampat means progress. Sampat means wealth. Pad means a step. You have one, you want two. That is called sampat. What is sampat? Progress. What is the opposite of sampat? Vipat. Your one step is gone. You went back 2 steps. Whatever you got, you went back. So he does that. Sampat bihi purayita. He can fill up with progress. He can fill up with wealth, with success. That is why he is called Purayita. Purnaha, Purayita. Then what is the qualification? Why is that you feel deprived? What is the reason for deprivation? The reason for deprivation is Papam. And who is Vishnu? Punyaha. He is Sakshat Punya Swarupa. What is Punyam? Merit. The unseen good. What is Papam? The unseen bad. The Papam is, we cannot see it. We can only see the result. So, that's what he says. He is Punyaha. Why he is Punyaha? Because Smriti Matrena. Smriti means remembrance. All you have to do is close your eyes and say Punyaha. What is that verse? Punyo. Huh? Punyoham Tavadarsanat. Yeah, right. Punya Sloko, Nalo Raja. Several verses are there calling Vishnu as Punya. So when you remember with those verses, that is called Smriti Matrena. Merely by recalling. Smriti means recall. Merely by recalling, what he does, Kshapayati. Kshapayati means destroys. Evacuates. Kshapayati means evacuates. What does he evacuate? Kalmashani. Dirt. What is Kalmasham? Dust. Dust is called as Kalmasham. So just like a vacuum cleaner sucks up all your, it evacuates the dust, he removes all your Kalmasham. Kalmasham actually means Papam here. The actual word of Kalmasham is dust. But in this context, Malam. In this context, Malam means what? Your Papam. Your accumulated Kshudram Karma. Your accumulated Karma, bad Karma. That one he removes. That is why he is called Punyaha. So, a person can do a lot of Punya, but unless he is famous, then nobody will remember him. Punyaha means a person who has done pious activities. There are a lot of people who have done pious activities in the world. Many Maharshis, many yogis. But they are sitting somewhere in the Himalayan guhas. Nobody knows about them. But in the case of Vishnu, he doesn't have that problem. He is Punya Kirtihi. He is already very famous in the Shastra, the Puranas and the Itihasas and the Vedas, he is very famous. That's why he is called as Punyakirtihi. That is why he is called Punyakirtihi. Why he is saying Punyakirtihi? Because it was said that by remembering Vishnu, you will get Papanasanam. But how will you remember a person if he is not famous? You cannot. So that problem is not there for Vishnu. He is already Punyakirtihi. In fact, there is a fight between Rukmani and Krishna. Rukmani says to Krishna, Tvam Trailokya Vahami. I am the one who is carrying you. But nobody cares for me. Urvyam kopi mahidaro lagutaro durbhyam dhritas swechaya. Urvyam means in this earth. Kopi mahidaraha, a small little hillock, a hill, called Govardhana. Kopi mahidaraha lagutaraha, very small. It's not like the Himalayas, the biggest mountain. No. Durbhyam dhritaha, you lifted it with your hand. Swechaya, nobody told you to do that. You did it on your own accord. I didn't tell you to lift it. Tena tvam divi bhutalecha satatam. Divi means in the heavens. Indra, Chandra, everybody is calling you Govardhano Diyase. You are being called as Govardhanadhari. Tvam Trailokya aham vahami. I am actually feeding you every day. Who is cooking for Krishna? Rukmani is doing that. Na tad ganyate. But nobody is worried about that. Nobody is worried how this Krishna is staying healthy. Whose cooking is keeping him alive? Nobody is worried. Kimva Keshava Bhashanena Bahuna. What is the use of all this futile speech? Bahuna Bhashana means too much of speak. What is the use? Punyehi Yasho Labhyate. You have done Punya, so you are Punyakirti. Nobody knows about this Rukmini because I have not done enough Punya. Like that they quarrel with each other. Not each other. Rukmini quarrels with Krishna. Krishna has no quarrel. It is one-sided. Because the book is Krishna Karnamritam. So it is Krishna's book. Hence it is one-sided. It is written by Bilwa Mangala. So that is why he is called Punyakirti. He is not a person who has simply done Punya, but also who is famous. So you have no problem of remembering Krishna. All you have to do is read about him in Bhagavatam or wherever he is explained. Just read about him and remember. By remembering, you will become Punyaha. You also will become Punyaha. So that is what Rukmini should do. She should read more. Yataha punyam avahati asya kirtihi nrinam iti punya kirtihi. Second meaning. First meaning is punya kirtihi. One whose kirti is punyam, is very pious. One who is piously famous. You can be kirti, but you need not be punya kirti. Kirti means famous. You can be infamous. That is called papa kirti. Like Ravana, you can be famous. Not like Rama. But Krishna is punya kirti. Vishnu is punya kirti. That is first meaning. Second meaning is yataha punyam avahati. Just by remembering his kirti, what is the kirti? The fame of Krishna. If you just remember the fame of Krishna, punyam avahati, you will become famous. Yataha punyam avahati asya kirtihi. Krishna's kirti will fetch you punyam. That is the second meaning. The first meaning refers to Krishna, Vishnu. The second meaning refers to the devotee who remembers him. That is a thing in Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, the punyam kirti, there are two words. So, depending upon how you phrase the samasam or compound, you can get the meaning out. The first one, asya kirtihi punya. The second one, yataha punyam kirtihi avahati. And how do you derive at this compound? By your own interpretation, your own tatparyam, your own intent. That is why one sentence or one word can have different meanings in Sanskrit because of the samasa. The next one is last one. which is anamayaha. Amayam. Amayam means vyadihi. What is the meaning of amayam? Vyadihi. Meaning disease. And there are two kinds of vyadhi. One is called manovyadhi. What is manovyadhi? Internal. You cannot see it. Nobody can say how sad I am, how happy, how sad I am. Nobody can say, because it is antaram. I have to depend upon you to tell me what is the scale of your pain. The second one is bahya vyadhi, that we can see. But both this vyadhi has one common cause. Antarehi bahyehi vyadibhi. What is the common cause for both this vyadhi? Karmajaihi. They are born out of your own action. Why do you have a tummy ache? Because you went to Olive Garden yesterday. You ate something which you are not supposed to eat. So, what created this pain in you? Your own action. So, all this vyadhi, that's why the doctor will ask you. Doctor will not look at the book. What did you do? How did you get here? What made you sick? Because it is all karmaja. Both andhara vyadhi, even the psychoanalyst, the psychologist will ask you about your actions, your past. Because all vyadhi, internal or external, are karmajam. Purva janma kritam papam vyadhi rupena badhate tachandir oshadir danir japahoma tapadibihi. So that is the only cause for vyadhi. So that is what Shankara writes. Antarehi bahyehi vyadibihi karmajaihi, which are born out of one's own karma. Sukasya dukkhasya nakopi data. Sukham and dukkham is not given by anybody else. Paro dadadidi kubuddhi resha. My husband is the reason. My wife is the reason. Thinking that somebody else is the reason is kubuddhihi. That's not subuddhi. That's bad logic. Swakarma sutra grititohi jantuhu. Every jantu means whoever is born. Jayate jantu. Anybody who is born in this earth, Swakarma sutra grititaha. Grititaha tied up. They are all tied up because their own karma, their own actions. They are suffering the consequences of their own action. So a responsible person will never put the blame outside of him. So karmajaihi vyadibhi na pidyate. Krishna does not have that problem. Because he is karma vinirmuktaha. He does not have any karma. Cause of karma is ajnanam. He does not have that. Because sarvabhi shaktibhi purnaha. He is complete. Hence he is anamayaha. That is the reason why he is anamayaha. That is why whenever you have amayam, sharire jarjari bhute vyadigraste kalebare. Kalebare means sukshma shariram or sthula shariram. Your mind or your body. Whenever your body is afflicted by pain, by disease, aushadam janhavi toyam. The water which came from the feet of Krishna, that is called janhavi toyam, Ganga Jal. Get it in Patel Brothers. Vaidyo Narayano Hari. And Hari is always available inside. He is the Vaidyaha. That is why he is called Anamaya. If that Vaidya himself has got some Amaya, then you will get some infection. So he should not be blowing his nose. That is why Vishnu is Anamaya. He is free from, if he has to cure you, he himself has to be beyond Amayam. That is why he is called as Anamayaha. The reason why he does not have Amayaha is because he does not have a physical body. He does not have bodies like us, which is Karmajam. All this body is Karmajam. He does not have that problem. So that is Anamayaha. Antarehi bahir vyadibhi karmajehi na pidyate. Iti anamayaha. One who does not have this pida. The next one is mano javaha. There are two words. Javam means speed. Manaha means mind. Mind is very fast, but he is faster than the mind.
Like the Vegavan.
Yeah, Vegavan, same thing. In Vegavan, you don't have mind. Yeah,
But the comparison is given to the mind.
yes.
Yeah.
Here, Sakshat Vishnu Sahasranama itself gives that. Manasaha Javaha. Vega iva vego asya. Vegaha iva vegaha means one who has as though the speed of the mind. Why as though? Because in reality, Brahman does not have any kriya. Brahman is what? Nishkriyam. Atma is free from activity. Hence, Vega iva vegaha. It is not really active like the mind, but it is sarvagatam. Because Vishnu is everywhere, sarvam Vishnumayam. Before the mind can reach some place, he is already there. Just like the space, just like Akasha. You cannot conceive a space without space. Similarly, you cannot conceive a space without Vishnu. And because the mind has to go there, it takes a fraction of a second to get to Dhruva. Dhruva means what? Nakshatra, the star. By the time you go to the star, he is already there. Who? Manojavaha. The one who is faster than the mind. That is why he says Vega iva Vegaha. In reality, there is no Vega or Kriya in Vishnu. He is Nishkriya. Aram se so raha hai. He is just sleeping in Yoga Nidra. No activity at all. Because if he is active, that would presuppose some kind of kamana in him. He does not have any kamana. Hence he is Nishkriya. Manojavaha.
Can I ask a question? So this is like the Desha Kala Vastu Aparichana, that is, he's
Yeah.
not limited by time, space, and object.
Mhm.
So when you say that something is Sarvagata, that means it's everywhere. It is Desha Aparichana, it is in every space, everywhere. Then why do we have to say Vastu separately? Like if I say Vishnu is everywhere, then I am included in everywhere, then he's inside me too, or inside the table. So why do we have to separate out the object and state it separately? Is my question?
Time that we have, the limitations we perceive in our reality, in human reality, is spatial. We have a spatial reality. That is why space is included. Just like you have time limitation, you are here today, tomorrow we don't know, yesterday we don't know.
Yeah.
So because of that, Kala Aparichina.
So I understand.
And also, yeah.
Go ahead.
So Kala is Kala, Desha and Vastu. Because we have these three limitations in our experience.
Okay. But Vastu is almost like a subset of space, because every Vastu will exist.
No, space is called Avakasha. What is space? Akasha. What is Akasha? Akasha means Avakasha. Avakasha means what? Opportunity. Empty space. Wherever there is a possibility. So there is a possibility of sitting here. That's why you come and fill up this space. So that is the locus of the object. What is space? Space is the locus of the object. Space itself is filling up something else. That is why it is called space. That is why it is not free from limitation. See, you think that sky is limitless. Sky is not limitless. Why sky is not limitless? Because sky is filling up the existing space.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can call space as empty, and that which is being filled, that which is used to fill up is Vastu, is the object. And the thing which is filling up is also limited. Where it is being filled up, the space is also limited. Space is not limitless. Because you perceive it You perceive the space, don't you? Can't you see? It is pratyaksham. The space is pratyaksham. It is limited to your perception. So these are the three limitations we perceive in our reality. So there is a difference between space and the desha and vastu.
But if you take a pot,
Mm.
then you say that the ghatakasha is the same as so
Mathakasha.
then- yes.
Yeah.
So then that is the space in the vastu in the pot, and then this is all the space.
No, pot is
So it is all. The,
even the
This is
akasha
a
is
subset of that.
akasha is filling up the pot, right?
so that's what I'm asking. But why do you have to say it separately then? Because it is a subset of that.
Because
Is this argument?
no. You have to understand the difference between desha and vastu.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Right. Kala and desha you understand. Time and space.
Time and space, yes.
If there is only desha, if you are not here, you are the vastu. Who are you? The body. You mean the person Sangeeta. You are filling up the space, right? That is the vastu. You are not desha. Where will you fill up yourself? Where will you put this thing? This is the vastu. This is not time. This is not space. This is vastu. These are the three limited things. Anything you see in this world is desha, kala, or vastu.
I guess what she's asking is that if you are saying that Brahman is beyond time and
It is not beyond. It is not limited.
not limited by time and space,
Yeah.
by saying that, don't you also cover object?
Yeah.
Why do you have to mention object at all?
Because
By just
time and
two
space,
things.
is not an object.
But
time-
whenever you have object, you always have to have time and space.
Right.
So if you
Because time and space always refers to an object. They are qualifying factors of an object. Independent of an object, they cannot exist. That's why you need an object. You can say that by inference you will get there. That's what I am also saying. How can you leave it out? Where are you going to go without that vastu? Brahman is that vastu actually. The vastu you are looking, which is limited by time and space, is Brahman. Only thing, it is not limited. If it is limited, it is you. When it becomes unlimited, it becomes Brahman. So you can say that by time and space, naturally the object is inferred. That's what I am also saying. But there is no fourth thing. Other than this time, object and space, there is no fourth thing you can think of.
I can't even think of a third.
Third is you. You the person. You are not time, right?
But
You are
if
not
I say
space.
that everything is Sarvam Vishnumayam, then I'm also Vishnumayam.
No,
and
leave Sarvam Vishnu alone now.
Okay.
We are talking about vastu.
Okay.
Vastu means object.
Yeah.
Start from your experience. What is a vastu? Show me any vastu. That paper, that is a vastu. Where is that vastu sitting?
Another vastu.
It is sitting on a space. That is sitting on another vastu. That vastu ultimately sitting on what? A desha. Ultimately, where it is sitting in America, right? That's what we call desha. And when is it sitting? Today, now. That is time. So there are three things here. This thing which is sitting, where it is sitting, adeya, adhikarana, samaya. What is adeyam? That which is sitting.
So
That is the
it's an
vastu.
Experiential description.
Yeah, it's an experiential description.
Okay.
Yeah. And you don't experience the fourth thing, just like you don't experience the third thing. Nobody experiences the fourth thing. Nobody means what? Or the Shastra. The Shastra does not talk about a fourth thing. It only talks about three things. Desha, Kala, Vastu, Paricheda, Shunyam. Why? Because Sarvagadatvat. If you are everywhere, how can you be limited? You cannot be limited. If you are here, you can be limited. Because you are here, you are not in that room. But if you are everywhere, we talk about the example of Akasham. That is because it's a very easy example. But it doesn't mean that Akasham is also limitless. Akasham is also limited only. Because it sits on the Brahman. it sits on Atma.
So everything is not included in everywhere. You have to state where, what, and when.
Yeah,
All three you have to state: time, space, and object.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. Where is Desha?
Where is Desha?
Yeah, when
What
is
is the object?
yeah,
and where
Vastu.
is the time?
Yeah, right.
So all three have to be stated.
Yeah,
I can also see that in the same area, again using very mundane example, this room here, you can say that the objects filling this entire room include light
yeah,
and the air in the room are pervading the entire room, and yet they're two different objects. So the time and the space is taken care of, but you could still have two objects in the same space and time.
no,
Light
no.
and
They are
air.
qualities.
Right.
There's only one substance.
Right.
There's only one substance. Light is a quality. It's not a substance. The light ray which falls on it, anything which falls on a substance is a quality. The substantial thing is substance. That is object.
But I'm trying to say that you still have to define object also. You cannot leave it alone because
Object,
It
the
will-
subject of perception in time and space. What is an object? The subject of perception in time and space. What you perceive is an object. Anything that you see, yadrishyam tat vastu. Whatever you see is an object. So you see the light falling on something. You don't actually see the light.
no.
Actually, you are looking at a post or something. That is a substance you are looking. Light is an aid.
Right, but the electromagnetic field that is there
Okay.
is occupying the same space,
Right.
and yet you cannot define.
That is a conceptual. Electromagnetic field you don't see.
You don't see.
It's a concept.
Right, and so
So as a concept, it is a vastu sitting in your mind.
right, but Brahman is not limited by that either. So I think you need all three things, not just.
Brahman is not limited. Brahman is
What I'm trying to say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brahman is not limited because
Right.
the Brahman is the one who is looking at it. Who is looking at it? Brahman is the looker. Yeah. Brahman is the looker. So that is why he is called Manojavaha, because he is everywhere. The next one is Tirthakaraha. This word Manojavaha means one who is faster than the mind. Why does he say that he is faster than the mind? Because mind is a troublemaker when he is very fast. He's so you cannot contain yourself, your thoughts. Because of the speed of your thinking, you are not able to be peaceful. So the solution is Tirthagaraha. He creates this Tirtham. What is Tirtham? By Tirtham, you can actually contain the mind. The speed of the mind can be contained by Tirtham. And he is called Tirthagaraha. Karaha means one who does. One who does the Tirtham is called Tirthagaraha. Tirthagaraha means one who makes the Tirtham. The priest. He makes the Tirtham. The priest can be called a Tirthagaraha. Anybody who can give you water is called Tirthagaraha. So the word Tirtham can mean water. The word Tirtham can mean Guru, Bharati Tirtha. The word Tirtham can mean a Punya Kshetra. Kashi is a Tirtham. And a Guru is also called a Tirtham. And he creates all these four. What does Vishnu do? He creates Tirtha. Why does he do this? So that the mind can be contained. Why is the mind very fast? Why does the mind jump? Is there a space? All these questions, why does the mind rise up? Why? Because it is very fast. Mind is such a beautiful gift. It is the most efficient thing you have in your life. Yet Manasa Manude, this Brahman is known only by what? Your own mind. That is the only tool you have got. Manashashtan, Indriyani. All the five Indriyas will not help you. Because all the Indriyas are pulling you out. The mind is the only one which is going to take you inside. That is the one which is going to help you finally. But that can happen only when Vishnu becomes your Tirthakaraha. Vishnu will help you with when he makes the Tirtham for you. when you go and dip yourself in the tirtham. What is dipping in the tirtham means? Going and putting yourself in Ganga or immersing yourself in knowledge with a guru. That is all tirtham.
So what is the meaning of the word tirtham then? Purify
Tirtham means 4 meanings.
is something that purifies or something that gives you
The
knowledge.
word tirtham means jalam. The word tirtham means yoni, utpatti sthanam. Mata tirtham, gurus tirtham, tirtham sadhu samagamaha. Association with the guru, that is called tirtham. Why? Because the guru is tirtham. Anything that which is purifies you is tirtham. You can say that. Because tirtham means Vedas. Knowledge purifies you. Amrakosha, the person who wrote, the Jain monk who wrote Amrakosha, he gives only these 4 meanings. He does not say they purify or anything. He just simply says Tirtham Gurau. Tirtha means Guru. Tirtha means a ford, a holy place. Tirtha means simple water. That's what he says. But Shankara says Chadurdasha Vidyaha Tirtham. He only gives one meaning. Shankara gives only one meaning. I wanted to connect Manojavaha and Tirtham. Why Vishnu has to create this Tirtham? So that he can contain your mind. If you have a mind which is very, very fast, if it is faster than you, your mind comes here first and then you come. It is like following the wife. You should match her speed. If you don't, there will be a conflict. So if you don't follow your mind, wherever the mind goes, you go. Yatra yatra manoyati. That is called samadhi. Tatra tatreva dharayet. If the mind goes to one place and you also go there, then there is no fight. But if the mind goes somewhere and you stay here, the mind wants you to get up. You don't want. The alarm is ringing, but you are stay put. Then there will be a conflict. Oh, what will happen? I'll be late. All that fight will start. So that is why Manojavaha can be contained, the Javaha, speed. The speed of the mind can be contained only by a Tirtham. Only the purifying thing can really contain this mind. So when you have that conflict, go to Tirtham, go and take a bath. Immediately you will see that your mind is peaceful. So here he says, Tirtha means Chadurdasha Vidyaha. What is the meaning of Tirtham according to Shankara? Chadurdasha Vidyaha. What is Chadurdasha Vidya? The 14 knowledge systems. What are they? Bahya Vidya Sthananam. They are all external Vidya, like medicine, logic. They have nothing to do with Atma. But only that will put a stop to your racing mind. How will your racing mind stop? It won't stop with Brahma Sambandha or Brahma Vidya. Why not? Because who is Brahman? Who is Atma? You are the Atma. You don't need any introduction. Nobody has to come and introduce you to yourself. Because everybody knows himself very well. Pratyakshaavagamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam. That's what the Gita says. You are very famous. Is there anybody who is not famous for himself? You are famous at your own? Yeah. For yourself. That's why it's called pratyaksham. Aksha means your own immediate perception. Aksha means your mind. You are available for your mind. Everybody in this world may not be available, but you are always available. So I don't need to teach you self-knowledge. Do I have to teach you who you are? You know that. Nobody else will know you better than yourself. So you don't require any Vidya for knowing. The Atma does not need Atma Vidya. Why? Because Atma is already a Veta. Atma already knows himself. Then what do you need this Vidya for? Because you have to work in Cleveland Clinic. Bahya Vidya. All these Vidyas, Samayas all these rules are for what? For external things only. You are taking a trip. You are doing your own Leela. And that is called Tirtham here by Shankara. What does Shankara call Tirtham? All the possible external education systems. That is the meaning of Tirtha. And who makes that Tirtha? Vishnu. He is called Tirthakaraha.
So this 14 Vidyasthanas, this came earlier.
Yes, the 4 Vedas.
Yeah. The Vedas.
The 6 Vedangas.
Yes.
That is Ayurveda. What is a Vedanga? The system of medicine. The system of medicine is created by whom? By Dhanvantari. Who created the system of medicine? Dhanvantari, yeah. Any possible knowledge system, they are all outside of you. The Atma does not require a medicine. Why? Because Atma is Ajaha, is unborn. Medicine is only for the body which is born. But Atma does not require any medicine. If this body is not available, he will go and jolly will wake up in another body. That is Atma. He is self-correcting. He can do anything he wants. He is everywhere. So all these knowledge systems were created by Vishnu for what? Because your mano javaha, your mind is racing. It wants to know everything. It not only wants to be here, it also wants to win the spell bee. It wants to read the entire dictionary. So he creates one dictionary. He is the creator of Padartha. What is Padartha? Substance. What is Padartha? Padasya arthaha, the meaning of a word. Everything is created by Vishnu. All those creations are called knowledge systems. There are only possible 14 knowledge systems in our Vedic worldview. I can call it Ayurveda, but I can also translate it as a system of knowledge. And that system of knowledge is called Tirtham. What is Shankara called? Any external knowledge. He says it clearly. Chadurdasha Vidyanam, the 14 knowledge systems. Bahya Vidya Samayanam. Anything which is outside you. Why it is outside you? Because you need to go to another external source to learn it. It is not self-revealing. Your happiness is self-revealing. Your happiness, your existence is self-revealing. You don't require another thing to be happy. If you think you need, you are mistaken. All you need for happiness is yourself. But then the mind is fast, mano javaha. The mind is racing. Mind is faster than you. You don't want to go, but mind goes with curiosity. Hence, in order to fill up that curiosity, he has to create the knowledge systems. Unless you give the answer, the mind is not going to move forward. It is called manaklesha. What is manaklesha? Non-understanding. When you want to understand something, if I tell you, I will tell you tomorrow. That is going to create a problem. So you have to settle it right now here. That's what the mind wants. Otherwise the mind will race. The mind will pull you. That pulling can be filled in only by a knowledge system. And that knowledge system is called Tirtham. Why? Because knowledge purifies you. Sarvam karma khilam partha jnane parisamapyate. All your actions is finally going to end up in one knowledge, knowing. Why? Because that is the only thing that can purify you. That is why he is the creator of knowledge system, which is the purifier.
So it's interesting if you say Manojava is similar to Vegavan, and then Vegavan was followed by Amitasanaha.
Amitasanaha. Because
here he is confining.
Yeah, Amitasanaha means one who eats moderately. Asanam means eating. Mitam means moderately. Why do you become Amitasana normally? Because you have got a Vegam. Once you see that laddu, some kind of speed, the body picks up some kind of speed, it runs towards that banana. Or it runs away. Either way, there is a Vegam created. Why is the Vegam created? Kama krodot bhavam Vegam. Either the anger for banana or the kama for the laddu. That is what is creating this Vegam. That is why they said Vegavan Amitasanaha. Always this immoderate exposure towards sense objects is created by Vegam. He has no problem. He is Vegavan. He is also Amitasanaha. He eats everything, not only the banana, the entire universe he can eat. But you cannot imitate him. That's why you have to be Mitasanaha. Here it is Manojavaha and Tirthagaraha. Here Vegam is the general curiosity. Here the word asanam is not here. Asana means consumption. Whenever there is conception, there is push of the lust, push of greed. That is there. Gluttony is there. Here it is the curiosity of the mind, the racing of the mind. The mind is unnecessarily speeding. So if you want to quench that, give a ticket to that, then you have to have a tirtham. The knowledge system is the police officer. He is the one who is going to curtail the vegam of the mind. He is not very talkative, Shankara. He just says he creates tirtham. That will put an end to vegam. Chadurdasya vidyanam bahya vidya samayanam praneta. Praneta means as Vyasa. Who created the 14 knowledge systems? Veda Vyasa. Pravakta cha. Not only did he create, he says that I wrote it, but you find out yourself, like Ramanujam. He wrote all that cryptic formula and he died young. Nobody knows what he means. So that is called Praneta. But he is not only a Praneta, he is a Pravakta. He backed it up with lot of books. He wrote a Veda and then commentaries. Puranas, Idihasas. That is called Pravakta. Spashtam Vakta is Pravakta. With clarity, he explains it. That is why he is Praneta and Pravakta. That is the meaning of Tirthakaraha. So the 14 Vedas, what are the 14 Vidyasthanas? Angani Vedas Chatvaraha. Chatvaraha Vedaha, 4 Vedas. Rik, Yajus, Sama, Atharva. And Angani, the 6 Angas. What are they? Jyotisham, astronomy. Jyoti means light. That is astronomy. The study of the celestial bodies. That is Jyotisham. It is not astrology. At least the Vedanga. They are not considered about your marriage in comparison. They are not really worried. They are worried about what is the place of you in the space. Is it a good time? All these things they are worried about. How do you get out of this and get moksha? That is the ultimate aim of. And Jyotisham can show you that. Because it's a light. And then Kalpam. Kalpam is procedure of doing your rituals. And then Vyakaranam. Because every word has to be understood properly. If I say Swajana, Swa means a dog. So Swajanaha means the family of dog. If you take Swajana, one's own people. But instead of Sa, if you write Sha, like the 21, then Swajana becomes what? Swajana. Swajana Swajano ma bhoot ityadhyayam vyakaranam. That's what Patanjali says, the Bhashya. Please don't say dog's family for the sake of one's own family. Don't make Swajana into Swajana. For that, what should you do? Adhyayam vyakaranam. Go and study a little bit Vyakarana. Sunday 1 hour is not wasted if you learn a little bit of Sanskrit. Avidida sashasaha vedaha. Sa, sha, sha. All these Vedas are very clearly exposed in Vyakaranam. So that is Vyakaranam. The third. Chandas, prosody, the study of meter. Niruktam. Niruktam means word meaning. Vyakaranam talks about the etymology. Niruktam talks about why a word means that. So these are the different system of protection for the Veda. If you don't have this, what will happen? People will come and give any meaning they want. Whatever meaning you want, without any boundaries, all sorts of meaning will come out of the Vedas. That's how Buddha got this meaning. How did he say that the entire thing is empty, shunyam? he just derived it out of himself. He did not consult the Vedangas or Vedas. So, to eliminate that, you need to have systems of protection. That is why these Vedangas are there. If you read this Maharshi Mahesh Yogi's book, The Science of Being, it is about the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. At the end of that book, he has an appendix. He talks about 6 systems of Vedic philosophy. And he says that every sentence in the Bhagavad Gita has to be matched with the 6 systems. Whether he does it or not, there is a different story. But he says that the Vedic meaning has to be understood only with the help of the 6 systems of Vedic philosophy. They are called the Vedangas. So 6 Vedangas and the 4 Vedas. Without the Vedangas, you should not approach the Veda.
So what was the last one? Last anga?
Vyakaranam, Chandas, Niruktam.
Yeah, you said Jyotisham, Kalpam, Vyakarana, Chandas,
Nyayam. Then, so you have got 10. The 11th is called Puranam. There are 18, but it is considered as 1. The 11th Vidyasthana. Then Dharma Shastram, like Manusmriti, Parashara Smriti. There are Ashtadasha Smritis, the 18 Dharma Shastras. That is also one school. Then 2 more, right? Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. What is Purva Mimamsa? The Karma Kanda of the Vedas. There are 82 chapters in Yajurveda. The 80 chapters deal with Karma Kanda. How to get children. How to get rid of them when they become a problem. All this, your wishes, that is there in the Karma Kanda. All your wishes will be fulfilled. Starting from a cloth. Roti, kapada, makan. What is roti? Annam, food. Which is basically your kamas. It is a basic kama of a person. And what is kapada? If you are a Shvetambara or Digambara, you don't need it. That's also kama. And then artha. You want a huge house. You're only this much. But you want an entire big house. That's called makan. You can get it by praying in the Karma Kanda of the Vedas. And 2 chapters he devotes to yourself. What is yourself? Upanishad. Your Atma. Who are you? You are not this body. You are not this mind. But you are pure happiness. You really can forget all these 80 chapters. What is these 2 chapters teach you? Traigunya, Vishaya, Veda. All these 80 chapters of the Karma Kanda deal with the 3 gunas. Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. Please give them up. Nirdvandaha, Nitya Sattvastaha, Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. Because your Atma does not require all this Karma Kanda. But first, in order to be mature, first you have to marry and do the Karma Kanda. Directly if you go to Sannyasa, then you will not understand the sweetness of divorce. It has to be understood that emotional maturity, that rubbing against dharma, that can come only by Karma Kanda. That comes from married life. Then comes renunciation. That's why he says clearly, Krishna says, Arurukshor Munor Yogam Karma Karana Muchyate. If you want to become Yogaruda, first do karma. If you without karma, na niragnihi na cha akriyaha. Without having fire, meaning without marriage, you can't get dhyana, maturity, a still mind, the availability of mind. That will come only after the 80 chapters of Karma Kanda. That is called Purva Mimamsa. That's why Maharshi Jaimini wrote the Mimamsa Sutra in 12 chapters. Dwadasha Sahasri, 12,000 sutras. And Vyasa's Brahma Sutra, 4 chapters, 500 sutras. Because it is dealing with these 2 chapters. The Upanishad, it is very short. Whereas Jaimini is dealing with the entire Karma Kanda. So that is the 13th and 14th Vidyasthana. Equipped with this 14 Vidyasthana, you are ready to know yourself. You just cannot know yourself just like that. And also, if your mind does not have that java, that speed, you can immediately know yourself. When I say you are the truth, you are not the body, please accept it. If you don't accept it, then you have to go through the Karma Kanda. That's what it is. The Upanishad just says that you are the truth. But you should have that Shraddha, the eligibility, the purity, Nishkalmasha Chittam. If you have that, immediately you will become Purnaha. So that's why we need this Tirtha. What is this Tirtha? The external knowledge system. In order to know yourself, you don't need this external knowledge system. But because the mind is Kalmasham, the mind is tainted. Tainted with what? Questions, doubt. Tainted with mind means no big issue, but it is doubtful. It just cannot rest on the Shruti statement. Hence he is called Tirthakaraha. Manojavas Tirthakaraha. Okay, now Shankara is not done with Tirthakaraha. He says this Tirthakara is, the Vedic meaning is this, Vedangas and all the 14 Vidyasthanas. He says Pauranikas, they talk about a different Tirthakara. He says, Hayagriva Rupena. Vishnu took the form of Hayagriva. Hayagriva is one of the forms of Vishnu, an avatara. And what did he do? He killed Madhu and Kaidabha. Madhu Kaidabhu Hatva. Why did he kill Madhu and Kaidabha? Because Madhu and Kaidabha stole the Vedas. In order to get back the Vedas, he killed them. And then Virinchaya. Who is Virinchi? Brahmaji. Virinchi is the name of Brahmaji. Virinchaya, meaning Brahmane, Chaturmukha Brahmane. Sarga Adau. Sarga means creation. Adi means the beginning of creation. Sarvaha Srutihi Anyascha Vidyaha Upadishat. He taught him all the 4 Vedas and the Vedangas. And after this, what he did was, this Brahmaji is the head of all the Devatas. And Devatas have got half brothers. They are called Asuras. For the Asuras, who are Suravairi, Suravairi means the enemies of Suras. Vanchanaya, in order to mislead them. Bahya Vidyaha Upadesha. He created all these other branches of learning and taught them, so that they will be kept in check. Idi Pauranikaha Kathayanti. This is the story Pauranika says. So that is the second meaning of Tirthakaraha. In other words, what is it? Only the Vedic teaching is legitimate, only that is going to reveal the nature of your true self. Studying this Ayurveda and all, it's called Asuri because it can take you away from Atma Vidya. True happiness can be far away. And in order to mislead them, he taught the Asuras that. That is the story of the Pauranikas. So he disowns it. He says, it's not my interpretation. Pauranikaha evam kathayanti. This is how Pauranikas interpret this word Tirthakaraha. Got it? Why does the Puranas talk about all this dvesha between Suras and Asuras? Because that is all part of human mental makeup. People need it. Just like they enjoy this young and restless, all that. The human mind, there are several Adhikara Vedas. Hence, it is all appealing to people. So slowly it is to draw them. From Bahya Vidya, they will be drawn towards the Atma Vidya. That is why the Puranas have such seemingly unspiritual content. That is because slowly they want to be drawn to spirituality. Otherwise, how do you explain to a Skanda Bhakta that he is greater than Vishnu? So there has to be some kind of pacification for that people of that lineage. That means what? They are truly Vanchayanti. That's what he is writing. Vanchayanti means they are being deprived. Yeah, because they are only ready for that now. That means what? They are only ready for that. That's why evam vanchanaya upadesham kritavantaha vanchanaya cha upadesha iti pauranikaha kathayanti. Because they have got adhikara only that much. Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahisha go brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ओम शांति शांति शांति।